Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago, and of course the globe. Welcome to Real Talk Corner. Hadassa, how are you?
Hi, I am fine, thank you. How are you, Esther?
Well, good evening, Trinidad and Tobago, and across the globe. Welcome to Real Talk Corner, and this is yours truly, your host, Dr. Esther Cruickshank. And we are here tonight. There's so much that has been happening around Trinidad and Tobago, especially, and then we have some international stuff. So, in 1 hour, I'm going to try to break this up, as much as possible. But the first thing I want to do is to say thank you to my producers. Thank you, God, for your breath in my lungs. They distracted me earlier. And thank you, Tobago. Thank you, Tobago citizens, for making the code blue and taking the red out totally. Thank you so much. Congratulations to all of you and to Mr. Fali and his team. Yeah, it was such a fresh breath of air. I was there a couple of weeks ago and I knew from what I saw that they were going to take it all. There were people who were saying, PNM would get some, and the people were disgusted with PNM. Listen to me now, man. PNM, look at it. An island like a blue sea. It is so magnificent to see that PNM was buried in Tobago. I wish Trinidad would have done the same thing, but everywhere is not the same. So again, congratulations. Tobago people don't make joke. You understand? I see a clown on Facebook talking about Tobago people clannish like the racial Indians in Trinidad. And these are talks you hear, and sometimes I wonder if these people write in their head. But it is what it is. So again, hats off to all you Tobagonians, all of you who went out and supported the blue. Of course, we know that there are those who voted for the PNM still, but PNM couldn't survive. They're dead. They're dead, 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 dead. All right? And they were buried. And I remember earlier on last year, just before our election in Trinidad, general election, I did say that it is time to bury the PNM, this cultish PNM. And I know some people don't like me to say those things because they're referring to human beings. But we're going to discuss some of the things that the PNM have done for the people of Trinidad and Tobago and the disrespect. And while I'm on that, I want to say, the Prime Minister is over in Tobago. Yes, congratulating. I mean, she is reaffirming government commitment to partnership and progress to the people of Tobago. And you're going to see a lot of changes because our Prime Minister, the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa, is going to allow the citizens of Tobago to feel important in themselves. She's going to give them autonomy to do things that they're supposed to be doing years ago. Watch and see. We're not playing, we're not playing. PNM must never see the corridors of power again for a very, very, very long time. And we're going to discuss more of it. I think my co-host is on tonight with me, which I am so happy to have her on. God knows the challenges we all are going through, but she is here. Fight out the work. Her work is taking so much of her time. But my darling bubbly Hadassa, Charles McLeod, it's good to have you on. Please welcome back because I think I miss you for life. Good girl,
Oh
Shine,
my
welcome your
goodness,
people.
thank you. I'm wondering if I even remember how to do this, but it's good to be back, I should say. I missed you guys, I missed the show. I really want to take the opportunity to wish everybody a happy new year. I wasn't able to do it again. So happy new year 2026. Let me say congratulations to Tobago. They really are embodying what it is when they say no turning back. I always talk on this show about PNM being dead, but this is more and more evidence. and there should be more and more of an awakening to them, because I don't know, even when I saw that fight break out in Tobago between the TPP member and the members of PNM, and they were fighting, and I was like, I don't think this party will ever change. I don't think they will ever change. And the people of Tobago continues to say a resounding no to PNM. They have rejected them and they have ejected them from Tobago. So well done, Tobago. Congratulations to the TPP, and I'm really hoping that Trinidadians will take a page out of out of the Tobagonians playbook, because they are such they have made up their minds and they're so steadfast. And we've had eight already Trinidadians talking about going back, and it's a strange thing that happens to us as Trinidadians. Um, you know. But I let me just say it's so good to be back. Esther, happy New Year! Happy New Year to all our crew and our producer. I missed everybody. I'm really hoping that the Lord will make a way for me that I'll be able to join more. So I'm hoping that everybody is really um, keeping up with all their New Year's resolutions if they made New Year's resolutions. And also, don't be stumped by the clock itself or the time. Every day is a good day to turn a new leaf, to start something new, to be a better you. So, New Year's greetings to everybody coming from my family, from me and Aya and my mom. um, Esther, how are you doing?
Well, girl, I see we kind of blending in colors, and it wasn't planned,
Oh, it
but
wasn't planned at
I'm
all.
good. By the grace of God, I am good. I cannot complain. I just need to remember my purpose and remember who I am, not to be misguided by anyone. It doesn't matter how it looks, to remember that God is in control of my life and He still has the last say. So it doesn't matter what people may think or try to say or try to do. My attitude is I don't really care what people have to say about me. At the end of the day, it's between me and God, my life and God, not anybody else. And we are here trying to empower people, trying to let people know and renew their mind thinking as to how they should live. It's not just about politics, but it's about being who you are called to be on this earth. I think but I know every individual who are born onto earth, born with a purpose. So, we want to try to help people to understand that. Also, I'm going to be starting what you call 1 hour every Sunday morning from 7 to 8 of inspiration. Inspiration meaning talking the truth according to the scriptures. There are many truths, okay? Many truths. Many people have their truth. Many religious background, many religions have their truth, but I'm going to talk the truth according to the scriptures, the Holy Scriptures. And hear what now? A lot of the people who call themselves women and men of God and so on, I know a lot of people is going to be shocked, but I am not perturbed by anybody who have to say what they want to say. What is hypocritical about some of these men and women of God? They criticize people like myself who support the United National Congress government, but they were supporting the PNM. Who they want us to support? The PNM? After the PNM behaves so cultish. We know that they are a cultish team of individuals, right? But you want to tell me who I must serve? I serve the mighty God, the one and mighty God, but I support the United National Congress. I don't serve no politics. I don't serve politics. I support UNC with everything in me after God. And for those of you who have a problem with this apostle, continue to have a problem. You suck it up and say and do what you want to do, because it's not touching me. It's not penetrating me. You all could say what you want. I made a choice to support the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa and also the party United National Congress. And any of you who have a problem with that, take it to the Lord in prayer. And we know that's how we do it. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Don't bother to send me messages. Don't bother to tell me anything, because it's not going to reach my spirit at all. So once I get that clear, and I'm telling you all, we're going to be not just talking about politics on a Sunday morning, but I'm going to be talking about truth according to the Bible, and to show how hypocritical a lot of us who call ourselves leaders in the body of Christ, how we are. What we need to do is start to come together, stop being divided, stop lashing out at one another, come together in unity and see God, Holy Spirit, work in our land, in our lives, in our communities, and in our families. That is what we need to do. Don't study what I come here and say, because what I'm saying is the truth. I don't come here and tell lies. I speak the truth where the politics is concerned, and I will continue to do that until the very last breath in my body is gone. Okay? So once I get that out of the way, Hadassa, I am just happy to be alive in the land of the living in the year 2026. Here we are in 2026. We were talking about 2025 for how long. It flies so
Oh my
quickly.
goodness.
And now we are in 2026, and what? Today's already the 15th of January. You understand? Producer say time for pay. But you know, it is exciting to be alive and to be amongst the living, to be in our right minds, and to be able to joke and to laugh and just enjoy the goodness of God. And you know, one of the things that our Prime Minister keeps saying is put God in front and walk behind. And even, you know, I was listening to, not listening, but I was reading some of the comments. And the thing about it is, she always put God first. And she always encouraged. I mean, she went over to Tobago and she talked about reaffirming government commitment to partnership and progress. If it was the former's Prime Minister, you think that is what they would have been saying? They probably would have tried to insult the people of Tobago like they are accustomed doing. But here it is, you have a woman of class, a woman of integrity, a woman who have a heart after God. She loves people and she'll continue to fight for people, even when we don't understand some of the challenges that she would face and some of the decisions she would make and would be criticized for it. We end up seeing the results. We end up seeing how things just work out based on her, you know, her intelligence. Look at the U.S. situation where they have decided to, what is the word they have there, producer? They decided to not, for the other Caribbean countries, the visa restriction for the other Caribbean country. Had it be that our Prime Minister had stand up with CARICOM and the foolishness and Guyana, we would have been in the same position. Here it is, Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana doesn't fall under that restriction by the knowledge, wisdom that our Prime Minister used. When the opposition and all these clowns was talking about all the foolishness they were talking about, because she was making certain decisions and standing on her word, they had enough to say. They said much. But hello, little is much when God is in it, because God has preserved us from that restriction. And all of them talking, but you know, everybody's want to run to America. Everybody's want to jump on a plane and go to America. But the rest of the Caribbean countries, those that was restricted in whatever way by the U.S., I don't know what they say now, but that is not our business, and that is not for us to be concerned about. You saw with the whole scenario for Venezuela, our Prime Minister stood her ground. She never had anything negative to say. She never threatened anybody. We were threatened. She was threatened. And what she did, she said nobody never came to her when the opposition and the political leader of the opposition was talking, but the Prime Minister have to answer to the people, and the Prime Minister have to tell the citizens this and that. What was there to tell? You will see these people is a cult. They're so lawless, Hadassa. And I'm going to talk about their lawlessness. It is PNM lawlessness that have our country the way it is today. Thank God for our Prime Minister. Thank God for the Honorable Kamala Persad-Bissessar. Trinidad and Tobago is not on Marco Rubio's list of 75 countries facing a visa ban. Think about it. 75 countries, and we have about 15 or more countries in the Caribbean that has been on that ban list, and we are not there. So we have to thank our Prime Minister for her vision. thank her for being stern and not being perturbed, or not being distracted by the foolish talks of the opposition leader, all this long line of clowns that is with her. Thank God she never pay attention to them. A strong woman in spirit, like she said, she might be small and she might be looking as though she, cannot go on, but her spirit is strong, and we'll continue to pray for her spirit that she's going to make the right decisions for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. We thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. So let them continue to talk. We are standing, I am standing, and those of us who are standing with the decision of our Prime Minister. You know why? Her intent is to see every citizen, every boy, every girl, every man, every woman become who God wants them to become on this land, on this earth. She wants all of us to enjoy our life. That is who she is, a heart of a mother and a heart after God. So who don't like it? My favorite line, suck it up. Suck it up. We are standing with her. If you don't want to stand with her, God has called her for this time and this season to turn Trinidad and Tobago economy around, to make things happen. And trust me, things is going to happen, as though some of them don't realize the whole reason that they have voted, those of the PNM who didn't vote, who supported the PNM and didn't vote, and those who came across and voted for the UNC, is because they wanted change. But do you want change and then you want the same thing to be happening as when the PNM was in power? No, it can't be, or else it won't be changed. If it is our Prime Minister and this party that is in government do the same thing that the PNM was doing, it wouldn't have any change. We wouldn't have better men. A lot of lawlessness has been brought into our country through the PNM. If we don't want to acknowledge it, well, something is wrong with us. It is because of the PNM we have all this lawlessness in this country, and it have to be cleaned up. It have to be changed. So when the fines, the traffic fines came and whatever, none of you have to be in any position where you have to pay plenty money. If you do the right thing, if your vehicles is roadworthy, if you're not breaking the law, you won't have to pay no fines. And I'm happy because the road have less traffic. Do you realize that the road have a lot less traffic? Because there were a lot of vehicles that was not safe for the road, and they have to park it up and travel, and some of them still taking chance, but you'll always have the ones who still feel they can break the law. Hadassa, what do you say about that?
Um, it is not surprising to me because I have always maintained, and I've said it on this show a lot of times, that we are a very lawless society. Um, and it really took somebody like Kamala Prasad Bissessa, at least this iteration of her, because she's a very different prime minister this time around than she was the last time. She's not making joke this time, and Trinidadians are a type of people where it's unfortunate, but we don't really learn by just, okay, so this is the law, this is the regulation, and we would just follow it. Case in point, what happened earliest night in terms of the fireworks and the restrictions and stuff like that. Nobody listened. Nobody listened. So if the prime minister comes around now and she bans it completely, she would be well in her right to do it, because we as a citizenry continues to show that we are lawless and we have problems following rules. And this is because we have been years and years and years under PNM. The PNM was never the type of government to enforce the laws, to make sure that our roads were safe, to make sure that our people were safe, and things like that. So, yes, it is very important that these fees and stuff were instituted, but more importantly, yes, to talk about the fact that she is a woman after God and she cares about the people. People were crying out saying that the fees were high and they were onerous and whatnot. And then she said, okay, we would not slap a ticket on you or off the cuff. If you are stopped, you will get a warning, right? So now you have to get a mandatory warning, and she has listened to the people, right? So I don't know, when people want to say that they're unhappy and this and that and the other. I continue to focus on the ways that I feel that we are progressing as a country. Recently, it was announced by, I think it was Vandana Mohit. She was talking about the expansion and the amendment to maternity leave in Trinidad, which now includes paternity leave and things like that. And I'm like, we are barreling full speed ahead towards first world nation status. And I am so happy when I see these things because it is important. PNM left this country in a mess, so these little wins might not seem significant to anybody, but over time, we are going to start to feel the compounded effects of everything that is taking place, because it is little measures. There's a little measure here, is a little measure there, is a little measure there, and all these things are slowly impacting our lives in a positive way. And this was the type of governance and this is the type of leadership that I wanted and that I voted for. We need to be steadfast as a people. Today, I also saw that there was a fire and two families lost their homes. One of the families lost a family member. May the person rest in peace and we offer condolences. But the HGC ran quickly and offered them housing right away. The same evening, they got keys. And I have never seen any other government respond so quickly to the needs of people when the people are in trouble, right? And if that is the only thing that you can look at, that is all that you need to show that this is a government that cares and that it is actively concerned about the well-being of its citizens. I can't remember the last time feeling like our country was so taken care of. I am so moved every day by the cleanup works and the cleanup efforts that is continuing to happen along our highways and roads and things like that. That is happening under Julie John. I mean, we are just becoming a country that we could be happy with, that we could be proud of, and that is how I feel. I'm really, really happy. I'm excited to see what is going to come out of 2026. What is going to be in store for us, because it is a long time that we have waited for good governance that feels good, governance that feels positive, and governance that feels like we are moving in the right direction. Back to you, Esther.
Indeed, you could not have said it better. And the truth is, many times before you have spoken about the abuse of the PNM. And it seems as though there are some people who got so accustomed to the abuse of the PNM
Custom,
doing
yes,
nothing for them
yes,
that now you have a government with a leader who cares and who is, I mean, day after day, night after night, you are hearing things happening, putting things in place for our citizens, but they can't get used to that because they're so accustomed to the abuse that even in the midst of change, they're still feeling as though they're being abused when they talk about CPEP and all those little minor things that eventually you're going to see the good of taking away those CPEP projects and doing something better that is going to elevate their lives. They can't see it yet, but eventually it's going to happen. And we have to also consider that after 9 months, what PNM had done for 10 years, and before that, what they have done to this nation, to this country, cannot be reversed that easily and that quickly. But you are seeing so many things taking place. I don't have to name it. People know. You talk about the Children's Hospital. You talk about Petrotrin going to be reopened soon. That can't just happen overnight. That takes a lot of money. A lot of thought have to be put into it. But she made a promise that it is going to be reopened. And soon, 1,000 more of people is going to be re-employed in Petrotrin. And there's so many other things that is taking place. People just have to have a little patience. They're talking about the suffering and hardship. They forgot what Colum Imberts and all of these people did when he left. They found it People like Imbert and they, it was a joy to see people suffer. You remember when he talked about how he raised gas so many times and they in riot let and he laughing like a clown? You remember all those things? You will never see our honorable Prime Minister or any Prime Minister under her saying things like that and finding it joyful to see that the people of this nation suffer. No, because they are doing everything in their power. Every one of the ministers are doing everything in their power to ensure that our citizens is going to have a better life, a better lifestyle. And that is what we need to understand. We need to understand that they're not just sitting. PNM has brought this place down to nothing. It's like a labas. And they know that. I see somebody talking about this one works so hard and they can't get this. Well, all you go ahead and riot. Go ahead and see what is going to happen, because the law this time around under our honorable Prime Minister is not going to allow you all to do that, to disrupt other people's life. And while I'm at that, look at what they're going to do. The SOE is going to come to an end, but they're going to put something in place called, I took note of it here, a special zoning. Let me just, I don't want to mislead anybody. Special operation zoning, zones of special operation, special security and community development. It is something that is going, you know, Hadassa, I think we talked about this some time ago, where even though we are a small country, we can zone off. We were talking about the number plates in vehicles. So if a number plate from Port of Spain is seen in Deep South, you know, even to reach there, there would be like how in America you have to pay, like if you leave New York to go to New Jersey, you have to stop, you are checked and whatever, and to go through. We need something like that. And I think this is similar. They say they took the whatever from Jamaica, and I think there's a video that we can share so that people can hear. But let us be mindful that they're not sitting down. This government is not sitting down and not doing what is necessary to ensure that people's lives are safe in this country.
With the state of emergency ending this month, government is preparing to shift to targeted zones of special operations.
Attorney General John Jeremy says the new legislation will zero in on crime hotspots, but questions remain about detainees held under the current state of emergency.
K. Marie Fletcher files this report.
Trinidad and Tobago will soon move from being under a national state of emergency to having a zone of special operations. On Wednesday, Attorney General John Jeremy revealed the government's plan to implement this new piece of legislation, which will target hotspots.
Instead of a national state of emergency, we propose to concentrate on hotspots.
But without actually identifying which areas are considered a hotspot, the AG said the change is aimed at targeting the present risks at hand.
But the legislation which is before the House is intended to ensure that there is a measure of proportionality between our responses and the threats which we now face.
The government declared a state of emergency on July 18th. Since then, there has been over 160 murders and over 100 persons have been detained under the Emergency Act. Asked what will become of these detainees with this new bill, the minister chose not to say.
There are logistics which are being worked out by the Minister of Homeland Security and the police as we speak, and I would not like to speak to that today.
He also said he could not delve into the details of the bill just yet, but former Police Commissioner Gary Griffith is agreeing with the AG's move as he believes it will give the authorities the power to infiltrate hotspots without disturbing law-abiding citizens.
So you have to do a lot of data analysis, verify where the hotspots are, verify if it is that you can now allow the law enforcement agencies to have those extra powers to be able to arrest persons, possibly arrest persons without without having the proper evidence that may be required to have them incarcerated indefinitely, being able to enter property without a warrant, all of those things can be done in specific areas, hotspot areas. So I welcome this. I think it is an excellent direction.
Regional security expert Gavin Hira, who also agrees with mirroring Jamaica by having a zonal SOE, says it shouldn't be a standalone solution. According to him, intelligence and social intervention are also needed. Now, this isn't the first time Trinidad and Tobago implemented a zonal SOE, but according to the AG, the government has tightened up the legislation this time around.
And there you have it. There you have it. And you know what? I was hearing that some people say, well, the hotspots, they're going to target the PNM area. But if it's the PNM area that have a set of dumb people called hotspot, criminal-minded people, sad to say it, but that is the facts. That is the facts. And then, of course, we know that they are the ones who travel into different areas and you have home invasion. You have all kinds of things taking place because they're not just staying in their community. Because most of their community, the people are poor. They don't have what is necessary for them to steal and to go back to their homes, so they go to other communities. And instead of the PNM see this as something that is going to relieve people from the criminal activities that takes place, from people losing their loved ones, okay, to criminal activities, they have a problem. So if you didn't do anything while you were there to ensure that your constituencies and whatever is being, in a position where people are safe, then our government is going to do it. And there is much more that is going to happen. We need to wait until tomorrow. They already, are saying that the hotspots is going to be only the PNM areas. How are they so sure about that? They may be surprised.
And where this is?
Where all of this is happening. Exactly. Where all of these criminal activities is taking place. And we listen to these PNM clowns, leaders. We listen to them. But as I talk about leaders, where are the former prime minister who was bumping his gum all along before Maduro was taken to America? That's just a plug I put in there, right? Hadassa.
No, hold on. We know where.
They bury him. They bury him, so you have to stay silent. Shut up. This is what I keep saying. You all need to shut up. Sit down, listen and learn and watch and see how to run a country, how to make people feel that they are safe, to make people feel that there is some hope again. It can only happen under the leadership of the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa. That's what are your views?
Or anything, but I talked about this before, about the fact that the PNM rally is dead, and there's this phenomenon of like people who work in morgues and stuff like that. They talk about the fact that bodies can move like after it has been dead because of gases or whatnot in the body that is being released that causes like limbs and arms and stuff to move. That's what's going on with the PNM. They're dead, but they just having these having these involuntary movements, what they call cadaveric spasms, right? So let them continue to spasm and whatnot. In the meantime, yeah, we haven't been hearing from the former who had just ups and said, well, I don't feel like finishing off my time as prime minister and hand it over to Stuart Young, and that was a whole debacle. But we don't know what or who he was running from, But in the meantime, I am very happy because in that very same press conference with Saddam Hussein and the Attorney General, they talked about the fact that crime is down by almost 50%, and that it's a lot of gang related murders that has dried up, right? So because the prime minister has been squeezing the criminal elements, has been making it very, very difficult for drugs and human trafficking and all those things to take place, then there are less and less gang murders. And I feel like the country is lighter, and I feel like the country is safer. And I am very happy, very, very, very happy, and very, very pleased about that. I mean, I don't know who would be upset about that, But I know that every single measure that the UNC has brought to the parliament for the PNM to vote on, measures that would positively affect the citizens, they have voted no on it. They voted no on the children's life fund. They voted no on a lot of important issues, and then they want to pretend like they care about their constituents, but they don't. Or else they would have fixed those very same communities. They would have made sure that they were safe. They would have made sure that the recreational grounds were not overgrown with grass, and that the children had a place to run and play. They would have made sure that the collection of garbage was on time. Whenever you look at what the Port of Spain Corporation is failing to do, they're not picking up their garbage. The place is dirty. The place is unkempt. And like one of our ministers said, well, we just have to wait for local elections, because we will continue to do like the Tobagonians, and we're going to push them out. I saw the producer had put up a map of Trinidad, and there's only a little small speck of red on the map, and we are going to continue to vote out the PNM until we have UNC councillors and representation in every single corporation, so that the people in Port of Spain especially could get representation. But in the meantime, yes, it is important for us to do these operations so that we can make sure that the crime that has come down continues to be reduced, and that is one measure that we're doing. But there are other measures that is to give people opportunity, that is to give people a chance at jobs, and to have a better life and a better future than they would have imagined if the PNM was still in power. So, people sometimes too, people don't like what is the good things that is for them. Like Esther say, you get so accustomed to the abuse, you get so accustomed to getting nothing. You get so accustomed to being treated like a dog that you expect the treatment to continue. So when something good, when a positive thing comes around, you're fussing about it, because you are accustomed to quarreling about everything and not having anything and being disgruntled. But we are moving forward. I am so happy with all these initiatives. I keep talking about it. I really believe that in the next 5 years we would really be a country that we would look back and say, wow, all we needed was 5 years under Kamala Prasad-Bissessar and her UNC administration.
And not only 5 years, we want to be there for the next 30 years. Just how PNM was there first and they was there for 30 years, we must be there for 30 years plus. And Hadassa, you're so correct. All right. What the PNM have here in Trinidad and what we are seeing, the movement is those gases. They're dead. We know they're dead. But those gases that causes the limbs to just give a shake and that kind of thing, that is what is left of the PNM. Those people eventually, because Trinidadians have a weird way of remembering the good. They just remember the bad more than the good, right?
Yes.
But once you see it start to be a part of their life, their livelihood, what our Prime Minister is doing, eventually PNM would those gases would have squeezed out and everything would be dead, 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 dead. You understand? You wouldn't be seeing no red no more. All you would be seeing in Trinidad is yellow and blue and Tobago. Amen? And those two colors put together, you get green. And green is life. When you think about green, it brings life. It brings total life to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. They're going to be alive.
That's true.
Yellow, it's coming a time, my producer says, say it again. There is coming a time when Trinidad will be a sea of yellow and like Tobago, a sea of blue. When you put those two colors together, you get green. What does green represent? It represents life. It represents a type of feeling. When you see greenery, oh my God, you just want to continue to flow in that. And that is what this country is going to come to under the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, the one and only Mrs. Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, SCMP, and we are happy. People are happy. It's just a few of those PNM clowns who are trying to make things look as though it is bad. No, it's not. It's not, and we are standing with our Prime Minister, because in the next 2 years, I am telling you, I guarantee you, with God in front and all of us behind, this place is going to be a place everybody is going to want to be a part of. It is just that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're
I
gonna
have to say,
continue.
not to cut you off, Esther, but I really want to applaud the Prime Minister on the way that she treats with Tobago. This is the first Prime Minister who does not have any ego, and she's very happy to take a more hands off approach to Tobago because the Tobagonian people have said that they want a chance for their own self determination and for autonomy, and she's very happy to support them, and I'm really happy to see how she treats with Tobago, because everybody else has been very high-handed. They have not listened to the Tobagonian people. They have not given them the ability to really reach their potential. That little island is so bursting and feeding with potential, and I'm really happy with her approach. The thing about it is, I mean, I don't think the PNM, the PNM is never going to come back from this, because they have lost their foothold in Tobago. Tobago used to be a battleground where Tobago used to be the deciding factor in elections. I remember that time when it was 1818 and what had happened then.
Yes.
But it's no longer going to be that. The PNM is going to have to fight fair and square in Trinidad. And the thing about it is, once the United National Congress continues to perform, I saw Barry Padarat in Penal, and he was talking about the fact that it was the most underserved community where water was concerned, according to data from WASA, and he was able to deliver 4 big water tanks to that area to supply these people with water. When people are represented this way and when people needs are met this way, there's no way they're ever going to go back and vote the other way again. So Esther might be right. We might be in for a 30-year long run hole under the United National Congress, and the things that could happen in that time, amazing. Amazing.
Oh my gosh, I am telling you, Hadassa, it's like a fresh breath of air, right? And don't forget tomorrow, please God, the THA bill is going to be amended to give them some level of autonomy, all right? This is going to take place tomorrow in Parliament, the opening of Parliament. So right there, and then you see that our Prime Minister is going to be given Tobago their own sum. It's going to start there. Everything is not going to happen in one. It cannot happen in one. But they're going to be amending the bill to give them some autonomy. And that is great news for Tobago. And don't forget, while we are that, crime is going down. Gangs related crime as well has been going down. And there is a clip that we want to play where Minister Saddam is talking about, real facts. The numbers, he has the numbers. Listen, everything is happening slowly but surely, and in a twink of an eye. This country is going to be one that we used to call paradise. It will be a true paradise under our honorable Prime Minister. So let us not forget, let us look up, let us stand with our Prime Minister and continue to pray for her and give her that support morally and otherwise, because she's working on behalf of whom? Of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, not for herself. She's working on behalf of us, and the PNM continue to have a few of them who just want to get on like hooligans. But listen, they too will have to change when things start to happen to them. And for them, they too are going to change their mindset because they're going to see things working on their behalf. So let us not be fooled by the PNM clowns who continue to talk nonsense and continue to not be able to shut up, sit down, listen and learn.
From the 18th of July 2025, to present, the figures that I have before me that were provided by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service shows that when you look at the number of firearms and ammunition, which is the weapon of choice of criminals, in the SOE that was discovered so far, from July to present, July 2025 to present, we have discovered 292 firearms of various assortment, 71 revolvers, 144 pistols, 45 shotguns, 29 rifles, and 3 air rifles. And the number of ammunition that was found and seized would have been 4,341 rounds of ammunition. So we are seeing that we are taking the guns and the ammunition off the streets of Trinidad and Tobago. The population deserves to know what the numbers were when we met office. The former PNM administration in 2024, being their last full year of governance, I believe former Minister Hines was the Minister of National Security then. And then, well, of course, they had to draw straws in cabinet and select a new prime minister and so on. And all that is history. But they left Trinidad and Tobago, and I want to remind the population, in 2024, we reported 626 murders in 2024. Never forget that. That was the bloodiest year in our nation's history. And just us taking office 1 year later, on the 28th of April, not even a full year, we were able to report successfully that the murder rate was 369 instead of crossing 600, representing a remarkable decrease in the number of homicides in Trinidad and Tobago. And what is important is that the data shows us this. It shows us that the major contributing factor towards homicides in Trinidad and Tobago was in relation to gang-related activities or gang-related murders. In the year 2020, there were 130 gang-related murders. In the year 2021, there were 189 gang-related murders. Keep going up. In the year 2022, 244 gang-related murders. 2023, 261 gang-related murders. 2024, 273 gang-related murders. 2025, with a new UNC government, it went down to 108 gang-related murders.
There you have it. There you have it. The results speaks for itself. We don't have to fight up. These ministers, this government is working. They are working on behalf of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And when they were campaigning, they said that they were going to work to ensure our safety. And if you can't see that, and if the PNM, you know what? They see it, you know, but it is their way of propaganding because they want to come back. But all you're dead, and the dead will not be risen because you all are not God. You're not Jesus Christ. It's only Jesus died and was risen. PNM, you're dead, and you're not going to come back alive because the people are seeing results. Anybody with sense, they are seeing results. We have buried you all, and all the gases that causing your limbs to shake, according to Hadassa, it is going to also go. It's going to go totally, and yes, here you're going down, 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 down. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, ashes to ashes. Bye-bye, PNM. We don't want you all here. You never take any pride in trying to make the citizens' life of Trinidad and Tobago any better. Our Prime Minister now, that is what she is doing. You know what the PNM did? Penny went and she cut ribbons for housing mailbox. Mailbox is important. They need to have it, right? For these houses in rural areas and so on. She went and she did that. The next one in Port of Spain South say, go back to riding bicycle and getting coal pot to cook. Yeah? The next one say, don't eat macaroni pie and callaloo. Go to provision. Well, as a matter of fact, when Dr. Keith Rowley came into power, that's what he said. Ban your belly, tighten up the belt, because hello, all you have to go and eat some ground provision. Well, from the time he said that, that went skyrocket high. Go and eat it, but he didn't study to keep the cost down. So you couldn't even buy the provision. Did we ever hear our Prime Minister now say, ban your belly? All she would say is that it would come. She's going to fix it. She's fixing it for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. So get used to it. Those of you who still following the dead PNM, get used to it. They're not coming back alive. So all you could as well come and join with us, stand with us, and see this country come to a place where, oh my God, you just want to be here, where the citizens abroad would want to come back home, because we now can live in peace. We now can have some sort of serenity. And always remember, our Prime Minister says, and I am saying the same thing, put God in front and walk behind, and everything is going to be good. Have faith in God. Like she would say, have faith. She tell me, have faith in God, have faith. Have faith and believe it is going to work. Because listen, these ministers, like Minister Saddam, Minister Barry, Minister Jerlyn John, and others, they're not sitting down. Minister Khadijah, oh my God, they are working day in, day out to make sure that the people of Trinidad and Tobago receive what they are worthy of. So let's do it together. Aren't you all feeling the breeze of change? Aren't you all feeling the wind of freedom again, where you could walk the street, walk the parks, and not feel afraid that somebody's going to come and hold you up? It is going to get better, my people of Trinidad and Tobago. Just know it's going to get better. Hadassa.
Is that I would rather you start something, make a mistake, and you course correct as you go, than to do nothing. Mr. Rowley, when he was campaigning for the last election, stood on a platform and talked about the fact that there was 500 and something murders and whatever, whatever, whatever. And he was given really, really grave statistics and was trying to say, well, if it was any other government, things would have been worse. Trying to convince people that his poor record was something to celebrate, right? And I am like, that is madness. But I am happy now that we are actually seeing results that is tangible, that is measurable, that you can count, that you can see, that you can feel, right? Because the place is lighter, the place is safer. Under the PNM, all they used to do was talk about a problem and then form a committee, pay their friends and families exorbitant salaries to be on the committee saying they're solving a problem, and nothing got fixed and nothing got done. And the days and the time for that is over. It is time for action. People got tired, people got fed up of living under conditions where they was like, but I can't leave my house. I can't leave my house. I'm feeling so unsafe. And that is not the case. We are going to have a bumper carnival. We're going to have a safer carnival. And I'm really, really happy about that. Even with the carnival, that was something that I forgot. I wanted to mention the fact that the there was no bad spending this year. They talk about what they spent and the ways that they tried to cut and to save money and whatnot, and it was not a free for all. And yet, still, they did it in a way where the vendors in the Queen's Park Savannah was still included, and they would still be able to make money for Carnival. I am just really so happy about it. So we really need to have grace, because I would rather you make a mistake, but you're working on fixing a problem, than you do nothing. Back to you, Esther.
And that is so true. Even for the carnival, you know, the clowns and them send the crew to boo down and to create, mischief. But it didn't work, because when you see what is taking place, the masses of people are saying they're having a good time. What is taking place in the savannah is really something that they appreciate, the change. But you know what? They send the clowns. They send them to boo and to carry on and try to bring destruction. But it wouldn't work. It might work for once, but come next year it's going to be better, because whatever errors were made this year, certainly it's not going to happen next year. So they could do what they want. They're doing everything in their power. They put some of the police officers to interrogate the people with the fines. All right, some things that the police officers should use their discretion for. No, they try to frustrate the people to make it look as though, yeah, all they take that, they're giving all a set of fines. But no, it's not like that. The masses of people know better. All right, and there were people confessing that they broke the law. They knew it, even though it was hard with the amount of fees that they had to get to pay. They broke the law, so they will not do it again. And I can guarantee us that our Prime Minister, she is putting things in place for this country to become a lawful, citizens that are lawful and will not continue to break law, because a lawless country is a devastating country. It's a country where you don't know, anything could happen at any time. You could lose your life at any time. You can be killed at any time. But when you follow the laws, even the laws of God in the Bible, if you don't follow the laws, God used to destroy the nation, destroy the people. But when you follow his law, you get his blessings. And it's the same thing. This, our Prime Minister, wants us to come into a place. You can't fix this country if it continues to be lawless. You can't. You can never. You have to bring people mindset to a place where they understand that they must follow the laws of the land. They must adhere to it. And if they do that, everything is going to get better. It's going to be fine. Because we all know that there are laws. We must follow the laws. So people of Trinidad and Tobago, do not be discouraged. Don't get frustrated. Take your time. Take some deep breath. Inhale, exhale. Know that better is coming. As long as God is in front and our Prime Minister is behind with our ministers, things is going to get better. But you have to shop up. You have to get yourself together and know that you can't be what is the word I want to use there? You cannot be ungrateful. You cannot want to dismantle what is being put in place, because you would feel the brunt of the law, because we are not going to continue to be a lawless country. So I want to encourage us, as we come to the close of this session, I want to encourage the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago and those who are coming from outside, because you have people coming from outside of our country and operating in lawlessness as well, because this is what they come in and meeting, and we are not going to allow that. We are not going to allow that. And those of you who are police officers and whatever, you're supposed to be setting good example. Please relax yourself. It's not going back to the PNM. We just showed it. PNM has been buried. Okay? So get with the time. It is a new day, a new season. Okay? There are times and seasons in our lives and in our nation. And this is a new season where things is changing. Not for the worse, but for the better. And all those who are suffering, soon and very soon, you would get out of it. Just remember, you aren't really suffering. Think about what you went through under the PNM. That was suffering. Many of you were suffering, and you couldn't take it no more. You was bawling and was ready for the election to come so you could vote them out. Remember the pressures that you went under. Remember how many of you wasn't getting water in your tap. Remember how many of you couldn't send your children to school in the COVID season. There was nothing in place because they took away the laptops. They had nothing prepared. Remember how many of your loved ones lose their lives because of their foolishness, because they were concerned about themselves, their friends, and their family. Yes. But under this government, under our Prime Minister, things is changing. If COVID were to come back again, I am guaranteeing you it is going to be a whole different ball game. It is going to be. Closing remarks, Hadassa.
Oh, I don't have any. I had said what I wanted to say.
You said what you had to say.
It was good to be on.
Yes, and it was so good to have you on tonight. And people, viewers, we appreciate you. We appreciate your comments. We appreciate even the negative comments, because we would help you to understand better as we go along. Share the live. Continue to share. Continue to let people know that hope is there. There is hope. Keep the faith, stay strong, stand with our government that is there. Their only desire is to make Trinidad and Tobago a better place. Make Trinidad and Tobago a great place again. I don't think it ever was even great. They're going to make Trinidad and Tobago a great place. I don't think we were ever a great place. It was a kind of a paradise, but we're going to see a real paradise, a place where everybody is included. Everybody is included. Don't care who you are. you're going to be a part of society and what there is taking place. So we love you all from Real Talk Corner. Continue to be safe, continue to look out for one another, continue to stand with our Prime Minister, continue to put God first and walk behind. We love you. Until next week, maybe Tuesday or Thursday, when we are back again. Goodbye.